Hello and welcome to Northeast West South News coverage in all directions. Our first story, there have been recent ballistic missile tests in Iran.
These ballistic missile tests have led to very controversial comments and threats to be exchanged between the U.S. and Iran. Examples include Donald Trump saying that Iran is quote-unquote playing with fire, and Iran commenting that America should not underestimate their offensive abilities, or America would have to prepare for a very serious slap in the face. Even if these tests were just for Iran's safety alone, the fact that they are testing nuclear weapons is still ignoring the global nuclear weapon law, which is the law that nuclear weapons should not be used for the greatest overall safety and outcome of most situations and/or conflicts. Iran continues to repeat that these tests were for their personal safety and were not meant to be a threat. But since the controversy began, Iran has escalated their claims from a defensive starting point to an offensive basis. If the controversy continues to escalate, both America and Iran have implied, if not claimed, that war games would most likely be a result and end to the controversy.
Thank you, Zach. And now we go to Abram, who's covering the war in Syria.
This battle for land that will most likely end in someone perishing right before the other in Syria. Kurdish and Arab rebels are fighting to push back a largely Islamic state in eastern regions of Syria. Syrian Democratic Forces, also known as SDF, are fighting to keep and get what they want. So far, the SDF has captured 15 villages, taking them for the Islamic State. One of the large goals of the SDF includes cutting off the Islamic State supply that they are currently receiving from Raqqa. In the northern regions of Syria, along with the Syrian forces and the Kurds, they have just received more help from Deir al-Zur in their efforts to push back the Islamic State. Astonishingly, amidst the very heart of a large war, the Syrian government and the opposition, the Islamic states, will gather to speak not only in a sign of peace, but also negotiation.
Thanks, Abram. Next we are traveling to Iraq, where Bubba is looking into a recent taking over of an airport.
Trying to prevent Iraqi soldiers from advancing in the battle, ISIS is planting bombs and mines in the battlefield and roadsides. These efforts to stop Iraqi forces is working, but not efficiently enough because of the Iraqis' weaponry and technology. Both attackers, opposing sides, are fighting over a stronghold. The stronghold happens to be a sugar factory. Sadly, all the malicious fighting has left the factory in flames, so the stronghold will no longer be in use. Over 160,000 refugees have been leaving Iraq. Many countries have tried to stop the fighting, but this is just for Iraq.
Thanks, Bubba. And now to JJ.
Saudi Arabia is ready to send troops to Syria. The foreign minister stated they are ready to fight the Islamic State group Saudi Arabian forces could battle in the Islamic State, as they are joined by the U.S. Special Forces. The deployment's main purpose is to ensure that the Hezbollah or Iran cannot control the liberated areas.
Thanks, JJ. Trivia question. How many beaches are there in the world? 729, 682, 347, or 1,014? The answer is 682. Now, an Indian artist, Ted Siebert, just recently broke the world record for the tallest sandcastle. This spectacle clocks in at 48 feet and 10 inches and a circumference of 530 feet. He said it is a tribute of world peace with such figures as Gandhi and Nelson Mandela. To top it all off, it was made entirely by hand. Now this sandcastle is really going to put anyone who sees it in awe, and it's definitely something to be taken off of his bucket list. And it'd be a shame to watch the tide take this castle away. This has been Northeast West South News coverage in all directions.